Well, then every time I'm just going to need to unmute myself.
No.
I'm gonna go over this briefly one more time.
Okay.
All 4 of these microphones are going to this laptop. And that's because we don't have an audio interface to get like a microphone to each computer. So it's a little bit weird.
All right, the YouTube is live, and you want me to start letting people in?
Stay muted, but I'm not muted.
You're not muted. Your mic is hot all the time.
Just click stay muted so I don't have that alert up.
All right, let's let people in.
All right, I am letting participants in. YouTube is live.
Great. Yai nai nai 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 yai nai nai yana nai So we'll turn to the second slide. And we hope that you are singing along in your homes with us. It's beautiful to see all of your faces.
I can certainly tell that Rabbi Warshawsky is singing along in Pilch Hall. I can sense that.
It's a great hall.
It's one of the best.
Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Havaya 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 Ahava 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 Havaya 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 Ahava 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 Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Shiviti iti havaya lenegdi tamid havaya
Havaya,
havaya
Havaya,
havaya ahava
Ahava,
ahava
Ahava,
ahava havaya
Havaya,
havaya
Havaya,
havaya ahava ahava
Ahava,
ahava.
Welcome, everyone. It's actually impossible to describe what this moment is like for those of us who are leading the service. We hope it's something sweet for you too. We're a team of rabbis and friends and professionals who not only love working with each other, but love singing with each other and love harmonizing with each other. And we're doing it in some ways for the first time in a long time because we've set ourselves up in a room very far away from each other where we can hear and you can hear our in real-time harmony. And boy, it's just different than hearing just your voice coming through the computer. And we hope it's different for you as well. Welcome to Hama'alot, Rosh Hashana 2020, 5781. It's strange to not have you here in concentric circles, close in, feeling each other's presence and body warmth and emotional openness. I want to invite you to relax into your comfy chair, as it were, whether or not it's actually comfy. Just feel yourself falling in to a different mode than even the Zooms you've been on before, which have been more liturgically focused and prayerful, or if you came to the in-person service in Zeering Field, this is a different mode. If you want, you can conjure yourself in Pilch Hall or in Adelson Hall as if we are right there with you, because we are right there with you. How do we view ourselves? And how do we view ourselves in our own view inside our minds, inside our hearts? What do we see when we look in the mirror? Do we see what is there objectively or subjectively? And if we conjured God, the Holy One, in front of us, seeing us, if it was not we looking into the mirror and seeing us, but God looking into the mirror and seeing us, what do we imagine God would see? Unvarnished. And what work would we be doing right now in order that God see a different us, a loftier us, a better us? The song we just sang, Nava Tehila's tune for a verse from Psalms, has a beautiful play on a alliterative level with God's name. First turns the God name Adonai into Havaya, which means being itself, existence. In some ways, in our relationship with ourselves and God, Havaya, that aspect of God, might be enough. Just be. Just be. Do we really need to be much more than simply to be who we are? But at the end of the song, they turn Havaya into Ahava. And you don't have to know much Hebrew to know that they sound very similar. They're a rearranging of syllables and consonants. Havaya, being, Ahava, love. This season, we aim to be seen by the God of just being, even as we aim to be even more than that, even better, even higher. and in that way earn and deserve being called ahava, love. What do you need to do inside your soul today such that you not only experience, but that you are ahava? You are love. Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Havaya 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 Ahava 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 Havaya 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 Ahava 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 Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Havaya 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 Ahava Ahava Ahava
The shofar cracks the mirror, breaks it open. When we hear the shofar, the mirror that we're holding up in trying to see ourselves breaks. Coming off of a year in which there have been sharp moments, broken moments, we've experienced this. The sense of, as we gaze at ourselves, as we consider who we are, there is a crack. We're broken open. Maybe in that brokenness, there is also possibility. Maybe there is some necessity that as we hold dear to images of who we are and aspire to be, that some shattering is necessary to be more honest with ourselves, to push ourselves into the truth of who we are. And that sharpness, that breaking, invites or even demands that we reckon with that. So what happens next? Once there has been that crack, how do we move forward? What are we aspiring to in this new sharpness and shattering that we're confronted with? And what's the process through which we can begin to put ourselves back together?
Wherever you are, in a living room or a bedroom or outdoors, whether you're by yourself or with other members of your family, and whether you meditate or not, whether you think it's a critical daily practice or the strangest thing that we do, I want to ask you to close your eyes. And let darkness be contributed to stillness and silence as we enter into yet a deeper and more contemplative place. If you haven't already, put your feet flat on the ground in front of you so that they feel the contact between you and the earth. And you can feel the two feelings of gravity simultaneously, not only the energy pulling you down into the level below you, but also see if you can conjure the feeling of support and being held that the carpet or the earth or the wood is providing you. You can place your hands, palms down on your thighs. As if you're embracing yourself in the most gentle of ways. Or palms up, which is a stance of openness and acceptance and embrace of what comes next. There's no need to change your breathing, but there is encouragement to be aware of your breathing. To breathe not just automatically, not just allowing your autonomous nervous system to do its work, but to breathe as if it is a luxury. Because in the age of COVID and in the state of California, breathing is a luxury. I want you to play the game in your mind of being anywhere and everywhere and also somewhere. Right now with your eyes closed, you're hearing my voice perhaps miles away. You can imagine that your body remains in the chair in which you put itself, but your consciousness is floating, hovering, wandering, venturing. You're here, you're with us here at Temple Beth Am. You're in your home. You're in the home of a family member that you would normally spend this Yantif with, but you can't right now. You're in Israel. You're above the universe. You are beautifully disembodied and not anchored to just where your muscles and bones and fibers are. And at the same time, without releasing that sense of being everywhere, I want you to identify exactly where you are with your eyes closed. Recreate the space that you're in with as much detail as you can. Picture the chair or the couch you're sitting on, the contours of the room, the people who might be sharing it with you. If they're there, imagine them in the same pose that you are in. And locate that room inside your house so you literally see yourself as an avatar in this mind exploration, exactly where you are. And without actually moving your body, just moving your body in your mind's eye, I want you to get up from your chair in your mind's eye. Get up from your couch. And start walking around the house. And let yourself be drawn, without realizing why you're drawn there, to an item in your house that represents your fragility, your brokenness. Let your mind do the work for you. Where are you in your house? What are you looking at? What are you holding that is a mirror to your being cracked. What does it feel like to hold that item and to look at it? What memories does it bring back? Where does it take you in space and in time to look at your own broken mirror? And just sit with that for a few moments, without judgment, but just with curiosity. And you leave part of yourself holding that representation of your brokenness. And in this amazing way that we can do with our mind, you both remain there and you also float away. And you float like an animated ghost towards somewhere else in your house. Some other object or item or thing that represents you at your fullest. Represents the you that you are not yet, but you want to be. You that you could be. A book, a picture, a trinket, piece of furniture, something that instantly to your mind, and perhaps only to your mind, is an invitation and a goad towards the wholeness that you are trying to achieve this year. Hold this object in your hand that represents whom you would like God to see when God looks in your direction. Havaya, 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 Ahava, 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 Havaya, 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 Ahava, Ahava, Ahava. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Slide 3, please.
Rosh Hashana yikatzevun, uveyom tzom kippur yechatemun, kama yavrun vechama yibareyun michye, o michye, o mi yamut. Rosh Hashana yikatzevun, uveyom tzom kippur yechatemun, kama yavrun vechama yibareyun michye, oy michye, oy mi yamut. Teshuva, Tehila, tzedakah, ma'avirin et roa gezerah. Teshuvah, Tefillah, Tzedakah, Ma'avirim, Ezra Agazera. In a minute, we are going to blow the Shvarim blast. If the Tekiah caused the mirror to crack, then the Shvarim, with its 3 long blasts, its 3 broken blasts, is now going to shatter the mirror. The mirror sits in multiple pieces on the table. If you were to look at each piece, the reflection would be different. The reflection on the left side and the reflection on the right side, the reflection in the middle, would all show something different when you look into it. And when we look into this broken mirror, we see not only ourselves, but we see in this broken mirror our relationship to God. B'Rosh Hashanah yikatevun, u'v'Yom Tzom Kippur yechatemun. On Rosh Hashanah, it is written, and on Yom Kippur, it is sealed. Traditionally, we think of this book, the Book of Judgment, as the book that says the answer to what the judge has decided for the defendant. But what if that's not the relationship that you see between yourself and the divine? What if it's not a judge and a defendant relationship? How can we think of the book that is written on Rosh Hashanah and that is sealed on Yom Kippur? What does it mean if that's a book where your relationship with the divine is not judge and defendant? Maybe the relationship that you most associate with is a king and a subject. As a subject, you are seeking to please the Malkeinu, the kingship or queenship. You are looking to obey the sovereign. Perhaps your relationship to the divine is between a supernal mother and a suckling child. As the child in that relationship, you might be needy. You are wanting that relationship with the divine. You are hungry for the divine sustenance and love. Alternatively, another metaphor that is very prominent in the Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur liturgy is the shepherd and the sheep. As the sheep, you are hoping to be guided by the divine. You are desiring to be led in your relationship with the divine as a shepherd. So I want to ask you, if the book is not judge and defendant and you're not getting a judgment on it, what might that book say given this other relationship? If it's a mother and a child, or a sovereign and a subject, or a shepherd and sheep, if the divine were writing the dedication in that book on Rosh Hashanah and closing the book on Yom Kippur, what might the divine be writing as the dedication in the book to you at this time? Shivarim.
Ay, 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 ay. 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 Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.
ay, 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 Emet. 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 Emet atahu rishon, atahu acharon, umi baladecha. Emet atahu rishon, atahu acharon, umi baladecha. Ein lanu melech, ein lanu goel, u'Moshiach, u'Moshiach. Emet atahu rishon, atahu acharon, umi baladecha. Emet atahu rishon, atahu acharon, umi baladecha. Emet. It's this shattering of language into three parts. If you see, if we pull back up that slide, slide 4, Aleph, Mem, and Taf, we shatter the Hebrew language from beginning to middle to end. Emet. And we see Emet, this piece that comes right before Michamocha in our typical liturgy. It's all about God as this ultimate truth. But more than that, this piece, these words, Emet, eternal truth, have something to say about each one of us. Emet, atahu rishon. In truth, you are first. Emet, atahu acharon. But also in truth, you are last. There are times when we have to pull our own truth forward, when we have to hold on to our broken pieces and bring our truth forward to make sure that we are getting what we need, that we're taking care of ourselves, that we're taking care of our own truth. But more often than not, emet, atahu acharon. We pull our own truth back, we hold on to our truth, we let other people's truths into the spotlight. We bring forth those people's truths who can't shine forth on their own. Just as when we stare into a mirror, if you come closer, your reflection is greater. And if you step farther away, your reflection is smaller, allowing for other people's reflections to be shown in that same mirror. That's what we have to do here in this moment with Emet. We have to find ways to step forward when we need to step forward, to allow our own truth to be bigger, to hold on to those pieces that make us who we are. But more often than not, we must take a step back. We have to allow other people's reflections to be in that same shattered mirror, to see other people's faces, to help those truths shine forth when other people can't do it for themselves. We hold up Emet, we lift it up. We bring truth forth. It's only humanity that can hold on to truth, that can find what truth is and bring it into the spotlight, bring it into the life, bring its reflection to the rest of humanity. We'll try singing these words one more time, Emet Atah Rishon. And as we do, find a way while we're singing for there to be moments when your voice is shining out, when you can really hear it amidst my voice, when your voice is strong, when your voice is that first voice in the reflection. And then find moments when we're singing right now where you hold your voice back, when you allow yourself to listen, to hear the reflection lifted up of a different voice. Make space for both as we sing one more time, Emet Atahu Rishon. Emet, 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 Emet Atahu Rishon, Atahu Acharon, Umi baladecha, Yai nai 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 nai, Ai nai 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 nai, Ai 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 ai, Yai ai 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 ai, ai 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 ai, ai 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 ai.
With the Truah, the multiple blasts in quick succession, we become further fragmented. The different blasts rapidly working with this image of a mirror further shatter it. All the different pieces laid out on the table, not just three, now many, sparkling in the light, each a smaller illumination, a different part of ourselves. Think about all the different elements of who you are. As a friend, as a family member, perhaps a parent, as a child, as a sibling, as a professional, what you like to do in your free time, what you're aspiring to, what you're leaving behind, all of those different pieces are all pieces of who you are, and yet they all seem disparate, maybe disconnected from each other. And in working towards truth, yes, truth is Aleph, Mem, Taf, beginning, middle, and end, all encompassing the whole picture. You can also conceptualize it as being a lifelong process, looking at the first two letters, M, mother, from where we all begin. The last two letters, Mem and Taf, Met, death. That within that one small word, it encompasses a whole lifetime. The full picture, all of the different shards of the mirror contained within that one word. And perhaps we can reflect that in turn to the blasts of the shofar, with the 9 short blasts of the truah, the 3 of the shvarim, and the 1 of the tkiyah, we get to 13. 13, of course, a number that has a deep liturgical resonance this time of year. As we say frequently and passionately, the 13 attributes of God. Talking about God's compassion, God's grace towards us. And the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Chassidut, talked about how we don't just recite these to God. God already knows this about God, but we recite these attributes to push ourselves towards what they offer, pushing ourselves to be more compassionate, pushing ourselves towards greater grace in the world. And so through those seemingly disparate blasts, sometimes themselves fragmented, broken up, there is a deeper unity that's offered through those 13. And so even as we are fragmented, just as those blasts are, we see that a greater oneness might be possible. That all of those crystalline fragments that we see laid out on the table before us still have something that unites them. And that even as we are fragmented and broken and shattered, we can still see that there is an underlying connection, and we can still begin the sometimes slow and sometimes painful, but always possible process towards putting those pieces back together into who we aspire to be, who we hope to be, who we know we can be, in order to bring greater unity, not only to ourselves, but into connection with the divine and into the world.
Slide 5, please. Yai na 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 na. Hi na 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 na. Hi na 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 na. Yai na 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 na. Yai na 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 na. Ay, na, na, ay, 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 ay. Yay, ay, 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 yay, nay, na, nay, nay, ay, 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 ay. Yay, ay, ay, ay. Yay, nay, 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 nay.
Vay'hi kol hashofar v'chazek miyud. Vay'hi kol hashofar holech v'chazek miyud. Moshe yedaber v'ha'elohim yainu b'kol. Moshe yedaber v'ha'elohim yainu b'kol. Vay'hi kol hashofar holech v'chazek miyud. Vay'hi kol hashofar holech v'chazek miyud. Moshe yedaber v'Elohim Moshe Yedaber Ve'Elohim Ya'anenu Ve'Kol just the nigun Yai da 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 da
So, now we return to the sound of the shofar. Kol ha-shofar holech v'chazek me'od. The voice of the shofar continues, strengthening with every moment. Tikiyah Gedolah is a returning to that original primal sound, the first sound that we hear, the original Tikiyah. But it's different. We hear it differently this time. Louder, stronger. Holech v'chazek me'od. Rambam explains to us that tshuva is kind of like deja vu. He says that real tshuva is when a situation comes to pass in which one had previously sinned in a similar situation, and one chooses not to sin again this time around. In other words, tshuva is when you encounter the same situation but choose a different path, leaving the sin entirely behind. When you decide in your mind that you won't do that thing again. The Netivot Shalom, one of my favorite rabbinic teachers, adds on to this idea and says that when a person chooses to veer away from a sin, when a person is faced with the same situation and makes a different choice, it's as if that person is saying, I'm different. I'm not the same person that committed that action in the past. In that moment, it's as if you've become an entirely new person. The rabbis teach that for those who do tshuva, God recreates them as a brand new life. And in that moment, you're literally reinventing yourself, something that only you can choose to do. Our actions and intentions don't only affect us, but they're connected to the world around us as well. In Rambam's treatise on repentance, he explains that it's necessary for every single person to see themselves throughout the whole year as someone evenly balanced between innocence and guilt, and look upon the world as if it also is evenly balanced between innocence and guilt. So if you commit one sin, you'll overbalance yourself and the whole world on the side of guilt and be a cause of its destruction. But if you commit one mitzvah, if you do one mitzvah, behold, you'll overbalance yourself and the whole world on the sign of virtue, the side of mitzvot, and bring about your and the entire world's salvation. Our actions have ripples far beyond what we can see with our own eyes. Each action we take can either contribute or detract from this world building. So when we arrive, or really when we return to each new choice in our lives, it's as if the whole world hangs in the balance, waiting for us to choose a path of love, a path of kindness, a path of goodness. Before the pandemic, my wife Adina and I would go to Soul Cycle on Tuesday evenings with our instructor, Katie, and she would give the most amazing sermons. At one class, we went up a particularly difficult hill in the beginning of the class, and towards the end, Katie announced that we were coming back to that same hill, but this time, we were supposed to approach it differently. The hill might be the same, but we're different. We've been through this whole class learning and growing and building ourselves up. How are we going to make our way up this time, knowing everything we know now? There's a form of Japanese art called kintsugi that many of you have heard about already over the course of this Rosh Hashanah, which involves putting broken pottery pieces back together with a golden lining. It's built on the idea that in embracing the flaws and the imperfections, you can create an even stronger, more beautiful piece of art. Improving something by revealing its inner character, embracing the flaws in order to become a more full, a more true version of yourself. This is the essence of shipur, of reinvigoration, which is the root of the shofar. Each year we approach Rosh Hashanah and the encounter with the same liturgy. We have these same instructions to repent and return, the same words and melodies that we beat our chest to. But this year, it's different. We're different. We've been broken. We've come back together. We've been shattered and fragmented, and we repair ourselves with golden lining. So in 5781, how will you embrace the entirety of your being? How can you bring your whole self with you as we chart a new course for ourselves this year? So if we return back again to those words we began with in the very beginning of Hama'alot, these words, Shiviti Adonai L'negdi Tamid, if we place this presence before ourselves always, if we allow ourselves to be present in this moment that we've approached every time we reach Rosh Hashanah, we approach the same moment again. How are we going to choose to be different this year? To hear the words differently, to embrace their meaning differently, to embrace a new version of ourselves in a different way. Shiviti Havaya L'negdi Tamid. I place presence before myself always, allowing myself to open up to Ahava, to love. Shiviti Havaya L'negdi Tamid. Shiviti Havaya L'negdi Tamid. Havaya, 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 Ahava, 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 Havaya, 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 Ahava, Ahava, Ahava. The sound of the shofar grows stronger and louder, different than we heard it at the beginning. Kol shofar holech v'chazek me'od. Tikya gedola.
Slide 6. Hashiveni ve'ashuva. Hashiveni ve'ashuva. Chadesh, 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 Yameinu kekedem. Chadesh, Chadesh, Yameinu kekedem. Ashiveni ve'ashuva. Ashiveni yourself to me. Ve'hashuva Chadesh, Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. Each day is new. Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. One more time. Hashiveni ve'ashuva Hashiveni ve'ashuva.
I want to hear you singing. I want to see you singing. Or I'll call you out. Come on, Darcy, sing with us. Avinu Malkeinu Aneinu Vaneinu Avinu Malkeinu Choneinu Vaneinu Ki ein banu masim Seimanu Tzedaka v'chesed Seimanu Tzedaka v'chesed V'hoshienu Avinu Malkeinu Choneinu Vaneinu Oy 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 Avinu Malkeinu Choneinu Vaneinu Ki ein banu masim Seimanu tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshiyenu. We miss you. We love you. We wish you a Shana Tova. We wish we were sharing this with you in person so we could give you a hug afterwards. But this has been a sweet hour for us. We hope it has been that way for you. And we'll see you next week for Yom Kippur. Hama'alot next week is in lieu of traditional mincha. Not to disparage traditional mincha. Some of my best friends in the world like traditional mincha. But we are going to be doing Hama'alot at the same time that Rabbi Chorny will be leading mincha on Yom Kippur afternoon. So I think it's
at 5 p.m.
It's at 5 p.m. And we'd be delighted to tell you what we're going to be doing during that service, but we have no idea yet. So it's as much of a surprise to you as it is to us.
That's not true.
I know it's not completely true. But we wish you a Shana Tova. Enjoy your lunch. Good Yantif and
Shana tova.
Shana Tova.